Hi, Bishop Montgomery. My name is Michelle Matuszewski, and I am from the class of 1981. So I grew up in the South Bay. I went to St. Lawrence, and from St. Lawrence to Martyr, of course, then I went to Bishop Montgomery, and I just remember all the great times we had. I mean, my graduating class at the time was the largest at 99 students, and we had lots of great times going to the beach. I remember Palm Springs for spring break, grad night, and just all the great friendships we made. I spent a good time in many clubs that I joined at Bishop, so I really got to know the faculty as well as my fellow students pretty well. But one of my most influential teachers that I had, his name was Mr. Gronke, and he was only there my freshman year, but he taught biology, and he made the class really super interesting. And one day for extra credit, he invited us on a Saturday to come down to the Madrona Marsh down in Torrance, where they were kind of having a walk through the marsh and information. So one of my girlfriends and I went down there so we could get our extra credit for the class, and he really took time showing us all about the wildlife that was there and why this marsh was such an important ecosystem in this really big urban landscape. And it really got me thinking about how much I enjoyed nature and wildlife. I've always loved animals and always had tons of animals, and so it just, the whole science and everything sparked my imagination. And then he connected me with another teacher. His name was Mr. Healy. He was also, I believe, one of our football coaches, but he also taught quite a few of the science classes, and asked me to be his lab assistant and kind of connect me more to the different aspects of science and setting up a lab. And then my senior year, I ended up taking anatomy and physiology, and we actually dissected cats, dead cats, in that class, and I was the only girl in that class, and I got made fun of a lot for that, but it really did inspire me to look at something I could do with animals and nature and wildlife for a career path. So from there, I got inspired and I went to California Polytechnic University, and I majored in animal science, and I actually double majored in animal science and chemistry. And then from there, decided to get my master's degree at UC Santa Barbara. And here I focused on conservation biology, on marine ecosystems. And I did most of my work in the Santa Barbara Channel Islands, and I studied great white sharks. And basically the question I was trying to answer were the contaminants that we find in the ocean actually polluting the pups or the babies inside the mother before she gave birth, that would lead to a pretty high mortality rate for when these babies are born. And then learning this information will hopefully influence cities and officials on how to handle their wastewater management when it comes to the Southern California waterways. So that led me to start working with sea lions, sea otters, Atlantic bottlenose dolphins, anything kind of big that was in the waterways. And then a friend of mine said there was a really good opportunity down in Florida. There were some people doing cognitive research with Atlantic bottlenose dolphins. We all know dolphins are really smart, right? So we wanted to prove just how smart they are. And it was with Walt Disney World. And I was like, what? Walt Disney World? But actually Disney has a huge conservation arm of its company, and it just hasn't been well known for very long. I think now people are starting to see some of the work that we've been doing. So I packed up my car and drove all the way across the country with my dog and thought this will be a fun 6 months somewhere else. And in July, it will be 30 years. So I've been able to make this remarkable career here in this company based on inspiration from my freshman biology class. Today, I focus on three main kind of lanes of work. I work to help our migratory songbirds In Florida, we have a small migratory bird called a purple martin that flies from the Brazilian Amazon forest to nest here and along the eastern seaboard. So we monitor their nest. We have one of the largest colonies in Central Florida here at Disney. We ban them, tag them. They go back to Brazil. We hopefully see them the next year. I also work on our sea turtle conservation team. Sea turtles are a big part of the Florida coastline, and we are very important nesting beaches for these endangered species. So I monitor the eggs and the sea turtles during sea turtle season. Another lane of my work is with National Geographic. So National Geographic is part of the Walt Disney World Company now. And National Geographic has an expedition arm to its company. So basically a travel agency, for lack of a better sense. And they travel to really exciting remote places and these huge trips. And oftentimes these trips have some kind of animal encounter, whether it's, you know, going through a national park to see a gorilla, or, you know, ride a horse in Iceland. So any of these excursions I have to review to make sure that the animals in these is meeting our company's guidelines for animal welfare and ethics. And so oftentimes that means I have to travel to these places to make sure that we're meeting all these guidelines. Of course, with the pandemic, we've been doing a lot more virtual reviewing than in-person reviews. So I would say it's very exciting, the type of work that I've gotten to do over the past 30 years and what I'm currently doing. And there's probably the 3 top things that I have learned from my time that I was in high school to today. I guess the first one I'd have to say is grace. You have to give yourself grace, because you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to step the wrong way, and you have to be able to forgive yourself, and you have to be able to give grace to others too, and know that everyone's on a learning journey. The second thing I would say is flexibility, and I like to call it cheerful flexibility, because things change so much and you can't be so set that you can't be flexible to looking at different ways of doing things, or being flexible at listening to somebody else's idea. And the third thing is accountability. You need to be accountable for all of your actions, and you should also hold those around you accountable for their actions and what they do as well. So it's been a pretty long journey. I'm 3,000 miles away from home. I do miss Southern California a lot. I love coming home and visit, but Florida is my new home. And if you ever get a chance, you should come out and visit. Thanks for letting me join you in the class today. Have a good day, everyone.